But yes, SummerSlam night one was the night I was the most interested in. And I think overall it was the night that really delivered the most. And it started with a real bang. Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against Io Sky. And this match was the perfect opener. Triple H was right in choosing this as the opener. It was exciting. It didn't let up. It was fast-paced. It was back and forth. A lot of aerial stuff. I mean, you had Io trying out an Oblivion. You didn't see Liv trying out a moonsault. I think that would have been a mistake. That's not really something in her arsenal. But she was very vicious. There was like a sort of a pile driver or of sorts on the apron, which looked really rough. I thought when Judgment Day with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez interfered and Io thwarted that, I thought that meant Io was going to win. But no, Liv, it wasn't directly after the cheating. There was still some cheating, but ultimately Liv did win clean. There was this wild sequence at the end. Liv hit an Oblivion, then a code breaker, then another Oblivion, and got the win 1, 2, 3. And she legitimately won against Io Sky, but it doesn't really hurt Io Sky because basically Io's beaten Liv. Liv's beaten Io back and forth. Like they're both evenly matched and they're both top tier talent. And this is helping cement Liv as a champion. It is her first title defense, although she's had other matches, but it's solidifying her as a true champion, a heel champion that maybe doesn't fight that often, but a force to be reckoned with. And I just think giving these two the opening slot was the perfect way to start off SummerSlam. Potentially I think it probably was, maybe not for like overall impact, but like just for excitement, it was definitely my match of the night, maybe of the whole weekend. Then we had the 6-man tag team match. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and Jacob Fatu versus the Allies of Convenience. That's LA Knight, yeah, Royce Keys, and Solo Sikoa. Now, you know what? This was a fun match. I mean, the video game tie-in at the beginning seemed a bit like unneeded, but whatever. They're doing their promotion. They're paying their bills. I get it. But I think Solo was the real star of this match. Yeah, LA Knight got the pin, but Solo really shone. I love funny babyface Solo. I love that bit at the very, I guess when he first got in there, he decides to run back Jay's music. The whole crowd goes along with it. The crowd was into it. Royce Keys looked really strong. The heels, I mean, they clearly, yes, the Usos did get that reaction, especially Jey Uso, but the bloodline are the heels in this case. I guess Roman's not a heel, but they're the heels, definitely. LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Solo Sikoa. And I thought this was a fun follow-up match, a good match, and this was almost like a coming out party for fun babyface Solo Sikoa. And then we had SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis versus Gunther, the ring general. I guess at the time, former or on leave SmackDown General Manager, because he ends up getting it back at the end, but spoiler alert for night 2. This match was better than what I thought it would be. I thought this was going to be a good match, and I thought Nick Aldis, I didn't think he was going to win, but I thought he just had to put on a good show, and he put on a better than a good show. And also, he was going for his move, the Cloverleaf, quite a few times, and the crowd really seemed to know his moves, so maybe they know some of his history. He also came out to Oasis. Yes, WWE licensed Oasis for Nick Aldis. I know it was just a one-time thing, but you know that they care about you if they're going to pay the money to license Oasis for someone who's essentially a general manager having one night off wrestling. But I guess they're probably, I don't think he's going to come out as the GM to have Oasis every time, but Gunther was strong. Gunther was perfect for this role. He was dominant. He did win. His interaction with Mickie James, Nick Aldis' real wife, at ringside was typical Gunther. And Aldis was strong. And yeah, he lost, but he had his family out after. He didn't lose embarrassingly. He had some hope spots. He almost won, but eventually Gunther won. This was a really good match with a real real storytelling behind it, real personal issues behind it, and it made perfect sense. And this is Nick Aldis's one and only WWE match. It's a good one for it to be. But if he has more matches, I'd be okay with it, because based on this, Nick Aldis can definitely go. Good third match of the night. And then we had are we maybe going to call an audible and not do the heel turn match of the night? The Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki, along with Paige versus Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed. The match was good, a lot of back and forth. There was, of course, a really nasty spot where Brie Bella, spoiler alert, got injured for real. I'm pretty sure it's when JC Jane rammed into her when she was on the steel, sitting next to the steel steps. But up until that point, she looked good. They all look strong, and I think this was a good way to give JC Jane sort of I mean, she wasn't in the ladder match she lost, but it made sense because she was in a featured match, a 6-woman tag match on SummerSlam, and this is in her first few months on the main roster. So Fatal Influence are really solid heels. They got the win. And of course, after the win, we had the beatdown of Paige by Nikki Bella, not Brie Bella, because Brie Bella was injured. And I was thinking, like, I guess you kind of got to go with the plan. But the whole idea was Paige was replacing an injured Nikki Bella, and the idea was it was going to be Paige feuding with the Bella Twins with a partner. People speculated AJ Lee or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think it's going to be Nikki versus Paige. Because Brie got injured. But I guess they were already committed to it. They weren't sure how badly Brie Bella was injured. Maybe she'd be able to continue. So they still did the heel turn and the beatdown. And it made sense. It also made sense why they lost the title. And it made sense to stick with it. And I definitely think Fatal Influence is going places. I like the way they're being built rather quickly. That's how you build heels. You put them against some legends. And I'm interested to see Paige in a singles capacity next. So I definitely did enjoy this match too. It wasn't my favorite match of the night, but it definitely delivered. And then in what I sure was going to be the main event of the evening, CM Punk defending the undisputed WWE Championship against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, originally, when this match was announced, even though I was upset with the fact that Sami Zayn wasn't included in it and it wasn't going to be like a fatal 4-way or something, I thought this still deserved to be the night 2 main event. And I thought that Oba and Brock should be the night 1 main event. Well, Oba and Brock turns out was the night 1 main event, and this was the penultimate match. So I was like, okay, wow, that's kind of surprising. But we had, of course, Cody Rhodes with... I find it funny when one person is in a movie and there's a movie tie-in and the other person isn't. To have the match sponsored by a movie that's only one person... It's like when you see Wheatley American Vodka, Cody's vodka sponsor, sponsoring a Cody Rhodes match. It's like they're on the side of one guy. I don't know. Regardless, that gave a cool entrance from Cody. And Punk has his entrance with the Minnesota North Stars. And I caught that right away. I had forgotten that they weren't actually an active hockey team. They had become the Dallas Stars. There was another team in Minnesota now. I just knew that from when I watched hockey back in the day. It didn't even dawn on me that Punk was going retro. But, of course, Punk went retro. I did enjoy this match. It was longer than a lot of the other matches, as it should be. They were, Punk had an injury, a storyline injury at one point, and he was kind of hiding it from Cody, and then Cody saw it and pounced. Like their characters, there was a lot of good character work in this match. Neither of them actually had a heel turn. Of course, Randy Orton came in when there's a ref bump. Randy Orton comes in and cheats. Punk doesn't see it, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. So you know what? I was hoping Punk would retain the championship because ultimately I wanted him to feud with Sami Zayn. That's not going to be the case. More on night 2, but at least not right away. But no, Punk kept the championship. I think that's the right call. And we have Cody versus Randy, some unfinished business. And that match doesn't really need a title. That's going to be a feud. And I like the way this match set that up. Didn't turn anyone heel at this point, even though Punk won by cheating that he didn't know about. So I think this was a well-booked match, well-put-together match. It was interesting. It was exciting and a lot of good character development in this match. And then we had the actual night 1 main event. Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi in Hell in a Cell. Now, I was wondering why this was going on last. My brother Joe, who I was watching it with, said, well, it's probably because of the cell, but it turns out there was another reason. More on that in a bit. This was definitely one of the more anticipated matches, the trilogy. We're going to see if Brock Lesnar actually is going to retire. Spoiler alert, he did retire, and his last match was in Minnesota. He retired a couple of days later on the Pat McAfee show, not in the ring, but back and forth, like Hell in the Cell. Of course, it's Hell in the Cell, so at one point they got the weapons out, although you didn't really need the weapons. These were just two big guys, longer than their other matches, but still really, really good. Still, it didn't feel like it was dragging at any point. It was like two behemoths going at it in this hellish structure. And it, like Hell in the Cell, it's good when it's used sparingly for matches like this. And this was definitely incredibly solid. Of course, the reason why it had to go on last is because Brock Lesnar decided to rip the ring canvas away and reveal the wood boards underneath. I didn't know it was wood boards underneath the ring. I was wondering, what about all those people who come through the ring? I guess the ring is gimmick, what have you. And he drops Oba on it, but Oba kicks out. Then Oba does a fall from grace, and obviously you can see the look in Brock's eyes. He was supposed to land Brock on the boards for the fall from grace for the 1, 2, 3. He kind of missed it. Brock was just on the canvas, and he just had to sell the fall from grace 1, 2, 3. Small detail. That was maybe the one little slip up, but Oba won, and Brock made a point to say, I'm the past, he's the future. You can't get any more bonk on the head direct with a passing of the torch moment. Brock is the past, Oba's the future, Brock's the one who said it. So, good. I think that is going to be Brock Lesnar's final match. That is a very good way to go out, despite him not actually landing on the boards. And Oba Femi, definitely, I honestly, by WrestleMania at this point, I thought he was going to get it at SummerSlam, but he's got to have a world championship by WrestleMania, and not like an interim title along the way. He might have some other feuds along the way. Looks like they're going him and Braun Breaker for a while, but WrestleMania, he's got to take a title. I'm thinking he's going to take the title off Roman if Roman still has it. But yeah, that was a really strong way to close off night one. So yeah, SummerSlam night one delivered on what it promised. There was no match that I could have done without that I didn't really enjoy in some way. We had an amazing opener, Liv and Io, really set the tone. We had a fun match with the breakout of Solo Sikoa. We had a solid personal issue storytelling match that gave Nick Aldis his moment in the sun in the ring, and happy to see that. Gunther was the perfect dancing partner for that. We had a match that's helping to develop a new heel faction. None of these matches overstayed their welcome or were too long. We had a solid character development match, an overall storytelling match. Cody and Punk. I think they're going to do Cody and Punk again at some point. It wasn't as epic as I thought it would be, but it definitely helped develop both of these characters and maybe pushed them off in different directions. Also brought back in the Randy Orton. It was good, entertaining, and good character development match. And of course, we had a main event for the ages, a literal passing of the torch moment, a strong way to end things. So yeah, overall, SummerSlam night one, I think, was stronger than either night of WrestleMania this year. I think it was a really good overall night. So that's how I saw night one of SummerSlam. What did you think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications for all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, and WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos. Now, feel free to check out my SummerSlam Night 2 review and other videos for the full audio podcast. The link is in the description. Until next time, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.